The icy night air brushed against my skin, carrying the unmistakable scent of damp earth and the eerie rustling of ancient trees. The crescent moon bathed the ground in silver, casting long, dancing shadows that seemed to conceal secrets. I, Elias Thorne, a historian obsessed with forgotten legends, found myself in the heart of the cursed forest, a forbidden place shrouded in whispers and macabre tales. My obsession, the reason I defied prohibitions and even death, was the ancestral rite. An ancient ceremony, the legends claimed, performed on specific nights of the moon, capable of granting power and immortality to those who completed it. Ancient documents, fragments of scrolls, and tales from superstitious peasants led me to that deep valley, surrounded by towering rocks and a waterfall that roared like a furious beast. Hidden behind a dense curtain of vegetation, the valley's entrance revealed a circular clearing. In the center, an altar stone, covered in moss and indecipherable inscriptions, drew my attention. The atmosphere was heavy, charged with a palpable energy, a harbinger of the unknown. I felt the gaze of something, or someone, watching me from the shadows. With a racing heart but unwavering determination, I advanced. My backpack contained the necessary research equipment: a flashlight, a camera, notebooks, and pens to record my findings. I was prepared for anything, or so I thought. As I examined the altar, my fingers traced the inscriptions. They were archaic symbols, a language I had never seen before. But instinctively, I felt a connection, an understanding that sent shivers down my spine. The partial translation of the symbols revealed phrases like, "Bless the blood, offer the essence, and the door shall open." Curiosity, mingled with a touch of fear, consumed me. I knew I was stepping into dangerous territory, but the promise of unraveling a centuries-old mystery was irresistible. Suddenly, a piercing sound sliced through the forest's silence. A scream, followed by a crash. I turned, my flashlight trembling in my hands. A few yards away, amongst the trees, stood a figure. A woman dressed in strange garments and adorned with silver pendants. Her eyes glowed with supernatural intensity, reflecting the moonlight. She gestured frantically, calling out for something I couldn't understand. I hesitated. Should I approach? Was she a threat? The woman, sensing my doubt, approached with slow, hesitant steps. She seemed disturbed, frightened. In her hand, she held a small dagger, its blade reflecting the moonlight. "No, don't come closer," she whispered, her voice trembling. "He is coming. The ritual. It must be fulfilled." Before I could respond, she plunged the dagger into her own chest. A jet of dark blood stained her clothes and the altar. Her eyes locked onto mine, filled with panic and despair. Then, with a final breath, she collapsed to the ground, lifeless. Shock paralyzed me. I watched helplessly as this shocking act unfolded, a sacrifice I hadn't anticipated. The forest seemed to breathe, and the energy I had felt intensified, pulsing around me. The smell of blood mingled with the earthy aroma, creating a sickening combination. From that moment, my research transformed into a struggle for survival. I needed to understand what was happening, unravel the secrets of the ancestral rite, and above all, escape the clutches of the unknown that surrounded me. After the sacrifice, the forest seemed to take on a life of its own. The shadows stretched and twisted, creating sinister shapes. The moon, now at its zenith, seemed to emit a more intense light, dyeing everything in a spectral hue. The atmosphere became suffocating, and fear, a constant companion. I moved away from the altar, fumbling for an exit, a safe place. The dead woman, still lying on the ground, seemed to watch me with her empty eyes. Her presence haunted me, reminding me of the brutality of what I had just witnessed. Suddenly, a guttural sound echoed through the clearing. A low, menacing growl that emanated from the shadows. I turned, my flashlight firm in my hand, seeking the source of the sound. Whatever lurked in the shadows was approaching. Behind the trees, I could glimpse shadowy figures, indistinct forms moving with surprising speed. Their eyes glowed in the darkness, like embers. Unknown creatures, grotesque beasts, with sharp claws and menacing fangs. They were the personification of terror, the embodiment of what the forest concealed. My first reaction was to run away from those creatures, away from that nightmare. But I knew it wouldn't work. The forest was their territory, and they seemed to know every path, every hiding place. I decided to fight. With adrenaline surging through my veins, I wielded the flashlight like a weapon. The strong light, for a moment, pushed back the shadows, revealing the creature's ugliness. They were hybrids, a grotesque mixture of man and beast, with muscular, hairy bodies, deformed faces, and sharp fangs. The fight was brutal. The flashlight, though useful for momentarily repelling the creatures, was not enough. They moved quickly, with astonishing agility, and their attacks were violent. I defended myself as best I could, dodging, kicking, but with each blow, I felt my strength diminish. Amidst the chaos, I noticed a crucial detail. The creatures avoided the moonlight. Whenever I managed to illuminate them, they recoiled, groaning and snarling. It was then that I had an idea, to use the moon to my advantage. With a desperate effort, I approached the altar. There, amidst the inscriptions, was a small vase made of an unknown metal that reflected the moonlight. I grabbed it, determined to use it. As the creatures approached, I raised the vase, directing the moonlight towards them. The reaction was immediate. They groaned, roaring in pain, as if the light was burning them. They recoiled, but they didn't give up. With the vase in hand, I moved through the clearing, guiding the light, keeping the creatures at bay. The fight continued, but I was gaining time, searching for an escape. Suddenly, a new figure emerged. A tall, thin man, dressed in dark clothes and a hood that concealed his face. He walked calmly through the clearing, observing the battle with a cold, calculating gaze. In his hand, he carried a dagger similar to the one the woman had used. "You cannot interfere," he said, his voice raspy and grave. "The right must be fulfilled." I knew I had to stop him. He was the key, the one responsible for all of this. But how? I was tired, wounded, and surrounded by monstrous creatures. But somewhere deep inside me, determination persisted. I couldn't give up. I had to survive. The man's presence intensified the tension. He moved with chilling composure, oblivious to the frantic battle around him. The creatures, for a moment, hesitated, as if waiting for an order. I knew I couldn't let him reach the altar. He was the most immediate threat, the crucial piece of the ritual. With the moon as my ally, I advanced, directing the light towards him, hoping to stop him. He easily dodged my every move, anticipating my actions. Then, with a swift strike, he drew his dagger and hurled it towards me. The blade, bathed in moonlight, flew towards me. I dodged, but not enough. It sliced through my arm, causing excruciating pain. Blood gushed out, staining the ground and the metal vase I held. The pain weakened me, but I didn't yield. With my wounded arm, I approached the man, fighting against dizziness. The battle became personal, a direct confrontation between us two. As we fought, he uttered words in an unknown tongue, a guttural chant that echoed through the depths of the forest. The creatures, mesmerized, drew closer, forming a circle around the altar. I realized the ritual was underway, and I was merely an intruder. In a moment of distraction, he seized the opportunity. He knocked me down, pinning me to the ground. With the dagger raised, he prepared to deliver the final blow. "This is the end," he said, with a sadistic smile. "You should not have interfered." But at the moment the dagger approached, a mysterious force pushed him away. The moonlight, now intensified by my spilled blood, enveloped the altar and the man, throwing him far away. I seized the chance to escape. I rose and ran into the forest, seeking an exit. The creatures pursued me, but the light, now imbued with my blood, seemed to repel them. Amidst the rush, I glimpsed a passage, a fissure in the rocks that seemed to lead outside the valley. I threw myself into it, struggling to escape that hell. The passage was dark and narrow, but I didn't stop. I needed to get out, to escape. As I ran, I heard the sound of the ritual continuing, the man's chanting and the creature's groans. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I emerged from the passage, back into the forest. The moon still shone, but the clearing and the altar were out of my reach. I survived, but the experience marked me forever. With a wounded body and a traumatized soul, I crawled through the forest, seeking help. The sun rose on the horizon, dispelling the shadows of the night. I knew I had to tell what had happened, unravel the secrets of the ancestral rite, so that no one else would suffer the same fate. My journey had only just begun. The forest had shown its darkest face, and I, Elias Thorne, was determined to uncover the truth, no matter how terrible it was. The ritual had transformed me, and I knew I would never be the same. The enigma persisted, and the thirst for knowledge, combined with the fear of the unknown, would continue to haunt me. Fate held many more nights of full moon.